Gemar Chatima Tova. As Yom Kippur approaches, we find it necessary to try and prepare ourselves. The Rambam writes in the beginning of Hilchos Tshuva that the mitzvah, the one mitzvah that there is regarding tshuva, is lisvados, is vidui, which is kind of interesting because tshuva, we know, is actually made up of multiple components. It's made up of aziva sachet. You're never going to do right. That you're stopping to do that transgression. Charata, regret. Vidui as one of them, and also kabbalah ala asid, and saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that you're never going to do it again in the future. So why does he point out vidui as the most important part and the mitzvah of tshuva? And we know vidui is an extremely important part of the Yom Kippur services. We say vidui again, not only in our personal Shemona Esrei, but also together in Chazaras Hashatz as well. Why is it so important? If we hone in and try to understand the word, and we look at what the understanding of the word vidui is, vidui, when we enunciate it, one of the most important messages to think about is that when we try to approach someone, in general, if we have a relationship and we're trying to approach them to ask forgiveness, when we just go over to a person and say, "Yimochel mi," like we know there's a tradition nowadays to do, if we just do that, it's not sincere. It does actually absolutely nothing. A person goes over to an individual and says, "Are you mochel mi?" For what? Is the first question that goes through the person's mind. But the moment the person says, "I've wronged you by X, Y, and Z," they enunciate exactly what they've done. What they've actually done is already done something for themselves. They've brought themselves closer to that individual. They've explained how I wrong you, and how I want to better our relationship. Yom Kippur is focused on building that relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants that relationship. And when we come along and we enunciate the sins, we're trying to literally break ourselves down to recognize, look who we are in our connection, in our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rambam specifically says, vidui is because that's really the main part. It's the main mechanism through which to build that relationship. And when you look at the word vidui, maybe that's why vidui, actually misvade, that entire word is actually related to the word todah, lehodot. It's not only about admitting when you're wrong, but also about appreciation. Because appreciation also is one of the most important and integral aspects of a relationship. When a person wants to get closer to somebody, you have to show your appreciation. You have to show your respect. This is exactly one, or at least one of the messages of Yom Kippur that we can think about during these Aseres Yemei Tshuva. We can think about these days as we approach Yom Kippur. How are we supposed to not only approach HaKadosh Baruch Hu? We've done so many things wrong. Yet we have to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants that relationship. How do we do that? We open our mouths and we speak. And we don't only speak in the private Shemona Esrei, we speak in the communal. Because why? Because we're not alone. We're also together in this with everybody else. That's something so important. So not only on Yom Kippur are we focusing in and building the individual relationship with the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but we're actually as well strengthening our connection with the tzibur, our connection with the relationships all around us, in the context of the relationship between Am Yisrael and the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Unity is one of the most important things the Jewish people need in this world. A divisiveness, that is the greatest enemy to the Jewish people. Be'ezrat Hashem, this year, we should come together as a whole, together in our davening, connect with our davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, be sincere with our tefillos to the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should grant all of us a bracha for an amazing Shana Tova, and we should all be nechtav v'nechtam b'sefer HaChaim. Everyone should have a Gemar Chatima Tova.